In the previous videos, we have been able to look into nervous system dysregulation. We have been able also to see how easily we can be able to snap and our emotions take control. And we have also been able to see the importance or the need for our window of tolerance to be expanded, the need to expand our window of tolerance. And today we are going to be looking into regulation, which is one of the most important ways in which we can go back into or we can really get a regulated nervous system, and we can be able to be at a state where we are able to manage our emotions. It's also amazing how in these two ways or in these two states we can be able to reference or we can be able to see it in the Bible. And I'm going to reference two scriptures, two scriptures from the Bible that are going to be able to enable us or to be able to connect with our humanity. So now we are going to be able to reference Psalms 43. Actually, it's 3, because when I was just going through Psalms 43 right now, I realized even in Psalms 42, it's like saying the same thing. And verse 5, it's talk about, why are you cast down, O my soul, and why are you disquieted within me? The same words have been also used in Psalms 42. So this shows like this is a person who is undergoing emotional and mental turmoil. Remember when we said whenever we are talking about the soul, that means our thoughts, our emotions, and our will. And when it is disquieted, that means that we are not regulated. Okay? So it means we are not regulated. So there are times that inside us, our soul can be cast down and our soul can be disquieted. However, when you move again in Psalms 131, there's also verse 2. It says, surely I have calmed and quieted my soul, like a weaned child with his mother, like a weaned child is my soul within me. So these are two different states. A state where the soul is cast down and it is disquieted. That means there's a lot of noise. Whereas now we also see now in another state whereby that this person, because let me say this person because the book of Psalms was not just written by David, it was written by so many different people. I don't know who wrote these specific ones. So, but we can also look at this state whereby that our soul can really be calm and be quieted. And now from where I see it, that the state where our soul is calm and quieted, it's a state whereby we have been able to regulate our emotions, and we have also been able to regulate our thoughts. And now from even our behavior, we are behaving in a way that is healthy and also morally upright. So the ways that we can be able to come from a disquieted soul to a quieted soul, one of the ways is through regulation. So what is regulation? Regulation is the ability to manage our soul, to manage our emotions, thoughts, and also behaviors in a healthy way. Now, the word here is ability, meaning it's a skill. It's something that we need to keep on learning over and over again until we are able to do it like automatically. And the more we are able to learn, the more we are able to do it, the more we are expanding our window of tolerance. So that means even when we undergo stress or any kind of stressful event, then we are going to be in a state whereby we are able to cope. We are able to be able to manage our emotions, right? So one of the ways that we are able to regulate, okay, now before we get into that, there are two ways we can be able to regulate. We can either self-regulate or co-regulate. Now, self-regulation, this is whereby you can be able to manage your emotions and thoughts and even behaviors by yourself. Co-regulation, this is where you invite another person or you even ask help from another individual to help you in terms of management of your emotions and thoughts and emotions. Now one of the ways that you can be able to co-regulate, one is by using deep breaths. So this is where you take deep inhales and deep exhales. Now you release like for a longer time. So this is actually God-given. It's so free. You don't need to be able to do so much about it. So in times when you feel anxious, you can just take deep breaths in and out, and this is going to help you relax. It's going to help you to be in a state where you can really quiet and calm your soul so that you're able to think critically on what you're going to do next. Another thing that you can be able to do is grounding techniques. This can be like one of them is you involving your senses to be able to come back to the here and now. Because sometimes when we overthink, it's either we are overthinking of the future or what happened in the past. So by involving your senses, by looking into, there's what is called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. So what are maybe 5 things that I'm able to see, 4 things I'm able to hear, 3 things I'm able to smell, 2 things I'm able to touch, 1 thing I'm able to taste. Like you involve your senses so that by the end of the day, it can help you to return in the here and now. Other ways you can be able to ground is maybe changing the temperature. Maybe you can hold ice, anything that is going to help you focus on the here and now, right? So that's one of another grounding technique. Or you can really put your feet to make yourself concentrate on the floor or on the grass as you walk. These are ways that you can be able to ground yourself. Another way you can be able to regulate is through exercises. Move your body. The way you are releasing, you are getting, you start sweating and everything, you are releasing or you're getting rid of the cortisol hormone, which is now the stress hormone. So the more you move your body, the better it is going to be for you, and it's different for other people. So when we talk about regulation, just pick what works for you. It's not a must like all of them do work for you. Another thing, it's journaling. This is where you externalize your thoughts like on a piece of paper. So you see them not just in your head, but also out of your mind. You know, when you externalize it and you're able to see it like kind of out of you, then it's going to be easy on one way to be able to regulate. Now, when it comes to journaling, it's not just about writing and then you just throw your book or you just burning the paper. It's fine depending with what you have written, or just tear it depending with what you have written. However, it's not even sometimes, it's very important that once in a while you go back to your journal and look into what you have been writing, so that you may be able to understand the patterns, so that you'll be able to realize, is it the location, is it this, do I only feel this when I'm just next to this person or this environment, or is it in the morning or is it in the evening? Because the more we are able to understand the patterns, the easier it is for us to be able to understand either the particular time it happens, so what do we need to do, what changes need to happen. So that's another tip that I'm going to give you for journaling. Just don't just journal and just forget about it. It's very important that you just reread them, so that you're able to understand or even see how far you have come in terms of your journey as you regulate. Another one is creative expression. So this is whereby you either sing, you either write, you either draw, you draw maybe whatever you're feeling. So anything that is like creative or out of it that is going to help you to be able to regulate. Now, those are some of the tips. There are so many. There are so many. We cannot even do this video like for an hour. There are so many out there, because they're even somatic exercises where that they really involve in terms of the body, because the body is a very important part in terms of mental health. Because when we are safe within the body, then change or the renewal of the mind is going to take place. Now let's go back to co-regulation. Co-regulation, I said, is when you invite someone to come. Now, earlier then, when we were quoting Psalms 131, when the psalmist was talking about how he has been able to come and quiet the soul, he talked about like a weaned child within, is the soul within him. A weaned child is a child who is no longer breastfeeding. So is a child who has reached at a state of maturity, right? So the more we are able to exercise, or the more we are able to regulate ourselves, the more we become like that weaned child. The more our soul becomes like that weaned child, like it reaches a place of maturity where it is like independent. Like the child, the way now they don't have to depend on their mother for so many other things. They can now, even by themselves, be able to do something. So the more we are able to regulate, the more we now continuously now starting becoming mature in terms of how we handle our emotions, in terms of how we handle our thoughts, in terms of how we handle how we relate and how we respond, all these things in one bracket. So when it comes to co-regulation, one way we can be able to co-regulate is either now when we decide to talk to our friends, or also when we decide to ask, to seek for help, like maybe therapy or anyway, mentorship in every other way. This means you inviting another person to help you. And another way, that also a very important way, is through prayer. Co-regulation can happen also with God, either through prayer or even worship songs, like I earlier mentioned, creative expression. Now, having saying all that, let us look at examples that we can be able to relate with in the word, because this is a faith and psychology channel. So we merge faith and psychology to see like a place of truth and tools. So I also show you how different ways it has appeared in the Bible, so that you are able to relate with these people as examples. So co-regulation now with God, this can look now, like I earlier said, through prayer. So which are some of the examples can we see? Now, when you look into the Bible, there's a story of this woman that was named Hannah. And Hannah had stayed for a long time, and you know the story, without bearing a child. Now, this is a very, which word would I use? A very good story to give us an example, because every year after year, they always went to the temple to give sacrifices unto God, you know. So this is a person who really knows and understands who God is. And every now and then, they were always visiting the temple. But year and after year, Hannah continuously kept doing the same thing. So she wouldn't eat, and she was crying all the time because of the situation that she was going in. She doesn't have a child, and the co-wife has many children. However, there's a place that states that this specific time or this year, it was different, because Anna went before the Lord with the bitterness of the soul and cried in anguish. Now here, and that's when it was a time now she was able to make the vow. So this is a situation whereby Hannah was able to release all the issues that she had to God, and she was able to co-regulate now with God, and then now she was able to return to a place of calm. Another place we see co-regulation is at the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus himself was going through a lot of sorrow and anguish, because now he was almost going to die for our sins. What did he do? With all the turmoil that was going on inside him, he was the Son of God, yes, but he was also fully man. So he went before the Lord and he was praying at that particular time. And he was able to regulate, he was able to manage how he felt. He even tried to bring the disciples along with him and tell them to pray, but they were not able to do it. And now that I'm thinking about it, we can also pick that, or that can be like an illustration of an hypoarousal state, you know, whereby there was lack of alertness, no, there was sleepiness, and they slept. That's one way we can be able to look into it. And also, these are some of the examples that we can able to see. Regulation is possible, co-regulation is also possible. So which one works for you in one way or another? You know, so you can be able to pick what really works for you, and then you can be able to practice it each and every time, so that you can able to return to a place, or you can be able to continuously expand your window of tolerance, so that you are able to be a state that you can be able to cope, right? So I don't know which one is going to work for you, but regulation is going to be very important for us, so that we can continuously be in a state whereby our nervous system is regulated. So just you can listen again to it, and then you can just pick one or two that you're going to be able to continuously maybe use or even try, so that you can be able to expand your window of tolerance.